Dear students, welcome to the new chapter, that is the 13th chapter by name Data File Handling. This chapter is completely based on the file system of C++ programs, how files can be handled and how they can be managed and what are the types of files are there. All these things we are going to discuss in this chapter. So, when you come to the point now, what are the objectives of data file handling? The first is to understand the concept of files. What is a file and how many types of files are there? All these things are included under the concept of files. This is the first objective of data file handling. And the next objective is usage of types of files. Usage of types of files. There are different types of files. Then how each type of file can be used. About these things we are going to discuss under this chapter, and it is the second objective of data file handling. And the third one is the role of text and library files. Text files are also there and library files are also there. What is the importance of text file and what is the importance of library files, and what are the usage of these two types of files? This is the third objective of data file and next is concept of opening and closing files in C++ programming. How can we able to open a file and how can we close a file? About that thing we will going to learn, and it is the fourth objective of data file and next is concept of input and output operations. Okay, in text files, how input and output operations can be performed on text files. And next objective is concept of input and output operations in binary files. Sorry, it is not. Concept of input and output operations in binary files. Here, this is a binary file, not library files. It is binary files. Okay, not library files. The role of text and binary files. Text files are also there and binary files also. Here, concept of input and output operations in text files. And the next one is concept of input and output operations in binary files. How input and output operations can be performed. Okay, don't get confused. What is this input and output operations? As we have used in C++. Okay, we have already used. For output operation we will use C out. Okay, and for input operations we will use C in. Like this. These operations, how they can be performed for text files and how these input and output operations can be performed on binary files. Okay, the next and the last objective is concept of file pointers. In our previous chapter we have discussed about pointers. Okay, like that pointer files or file pointers and their manipulations, how they can be manipulated. Regarding all these things we are going to discuss in our today's chapter, that is data file handling. Okay, hope you have understood this thing. Now come to the point. I am going to explain you about the introduction of data file handling. Now come to the introduction. As we have gone through the objectives of data file handling, now a brief introduction about data file handling. As we have already know that C in and C out are the statements which are used for input and output operations in So those statements, that is C in and C out, okay, they are for handling files. They are input and output operations itself, but they are used for handling the Next, we are discussing about C in and C out. They are input and output operations itself, but they are used for handling input and output operations, and they are used to accept, okay, input through the keyboard. Okay, C in is used to accept input through the keyboard. Okay, and then display output on the screen. C out is used, okay, to display the output on the screen. Screen means monitor. Okay, the screen means monitor. Understood? And C++ provide rich set of operations. It is true for both unformatted and formatted input output operations. Later we will come to know what is meant by formatted and unformatted. In C++, the IO operations, IO means input and output. Okay, here also IO means input and output. In C++, these IO operations, which IO operations? Okay, rich set of operations. Okay, these IO operations are implemented through IO stream library. What is this IO stream library? You have already know that whenever you write a C++ program, at the time you will start that program with the help of hash include iostream.h. iostream.h. This iostream means it includes standard input and output operations. Here iostream library means it is iostream.h header file, which contains the input and output operations as C in and C out. Then C++ IO operations occurs in streams. Yes, because included in IO stream library, so they occur in streams, which are sequences of bytes. Sequences means series of bytes, not one or two bytes. Okay, they are the series of bytes. And come, if bytes flow, okay, if these bytes they flow from device like keyboard or disk drive. Disk drive means it may be pen drive or hard disk drive or CD-ROM drive, anything. Disk drive and or a network connection. Network connection means it is either internet connection or LAN, WAN or MAN, any of these network connections, okay, etc. to main memory. Once again I am explaining. If bytes flow from a device like keyboard or disk drive or network connection to the main memory, from device to main memory of a computer, this is called as input operation. You may get a question for 1 mark for your annual exam. What is input operation? At the time you have to write, if bytes flow from a device like disk drive, okay, or keyboard. If bytes flow from a device like keyboard or disk drive or network connection to the main memory, this is called as input operation. Okay, and the next, if bytes flow from main memory to, okay, if bytes flow from main memory to a device like display screen, it means monitor, okay, or a printer or a disk drive, either may be hard drive or pen drive or CD-ROM or any any of the disk drives or a network or a device or a network connection. Okay, if bytes will flow from main memory to display screen or the printer or any disk drive or network connection, etc. This is called output operation. This is called output operation. If bytes flow from main memory to display screen, means monitor or printer or any disk drive or network connection, etc. and many. This is called output operation. This is output operation. Remember this, it is output operation. Okay. The last point I am going to explain you in some other way. Come, now we shall see. Okay. See, in this point, few things are. One is bytes. Okay, bytes. And next one is device like keyboard, disk drive or network connection. Okay, keyboard, disk drive, then network connection. Okay, then with network connection and main memory. Okay, here main memory. Okay, then here same thing, bytes, main memory, then display screen, okay, then after that printer, then disk drive. Okay, disk drive or the network connection. Here it is network connection. Network connection. See, very simply I am going to explain. The first thing is input operation. The first thing is input operation, and the next thing is output operation. First thing is input operation, next thing is output operation. I am going to explain you the concept. This point very easily. If bytes flow, they will flow from, okay, keyboard or disk drive or network connection to main memory. If bytes flow from keyboard or disk drive or network connection to main memory, this is called as input operation. Hope you have understood. And the second thing, if bytes flow from, okay, main memory to display screen, printer, disk drive or network connection. Bytes flow from main memory to display screen, printer, disk drive or network connection. This process is called as output operation. Okay, here bytes first level passed from input units to main memory is called input operation, and after processing from main memory to output unit, then this is called as output operation. So now you have understood the concept of data file handling. Okay, today we will stop here. In our next class we are coming to the point. Hope you have understood. If you have any doubts regarding today's class, you can ask me personally. Thank you.